In 1955, a man with a sharpening stone strapped to his bicycle could earn more than a factory worker in a single Saturday morning. Today, that same hustle pulls in over $400 a day in some American suburbs, and almost nobody is doing it. Here's the twist. Most of the ways your grandparents made extra cash did not vanish because they stopped working. They vanished because we got convinced they were beneath us. Number 12 on this list was so profitable that whole families lived off it. And right now, a guy in Ohio is quietly making six figures at it. And number 3, people pay triple what they did in 1980 for the exact same service. Before we start, hit that subscribe button because at least 3 of these you could launch this weekend with what is already sitting in your garage. Let's count down the 20 lost neighborhood hustles that still make money in 2026. Number 20, the knife and scissor sharpener. There was a time when you'd hear a little bell down the street and a man would be pushing a cart with a foot-pedal grindstone, calling out for dull blades. Housewives ran out with kitchen knives, garden shears, even the barber's razors. For a nickel a blade, he'd put an edge on steel that no factory could match, and he'd hit the same block every 2 weeks like clockwork. Then disposable everything took over, and we started throwing knives in a drawer until they couldn't cut a tomato. Here's what nobody tells you. A decent chef's knife costs $150, and people are terrified to ruin it. A mobile sharpener today charges $8 to $12 per blade, hits restaurants on a route, and clears $300 to $500 on a good day. The grindstone your great-grandfather used still works. Most people just forgot how much a sharp knife is worth. Number 19, window washing. Before squeegees came in a plastic clamshell at the hardware store, washing windows was a trade. A kid with a bucket, vinegar water, and a strip of chamois could work an entire block of storefronts before lunch and walk home with his pockets jingling. Shop owners knew clean glass sold goods, so they paid every single week. Then everyone decided they could do it themselves, and the windows got streaky and gray. Here is the part people miss. Nobody actually does their own windows anymore, especially the second story. A residential window cleaner today charges anywhere from $8 to $15 a pane, and a single suburban house can run $200. The tools cost under $50. It is one of the only businesses on earth where the customers literally watch you make their life better in real time, then ask when you can come back. Number 18, egg selling. Every neighborhood used to have that one house with a hand-painted sign by the mailbox. Fresh eggs, 50 cents a dozen. A few hens in the backyard turned kitchen scraps into a steady trickle of money, and the eggs were gone by Saturday. Then grocery stores stacked them by the carton, cheap and uniform, and the backyard coops disappeared. But watch what happened recently. Store eggs spiked past $5 and $6 a dozen, and suddenly that hand-painted sign looks like genius again. People will pay $7, $8, even $10 a dozen for pasture-raised eggs from a neighbor they trust. A small flock costs a few $100s to set up and feeds itself half on scraps. It is the closest thing to printing money that fits in a backyard, and the demand has never been higher than it is right now. Number 17, mending and alterations. There was an era when a torn hem or a popped button never meant a new garment. Every block had a woman with a sewing machine in the front room who could take in a waist, shorten a sleeve, or invisibly mend a tear for pocket change. Clothes were expensive, so you fixed them. Then fast fashion made a shirt cheaper than the thread to repair it, and the skill nearly died. Here's the turn. People now own $400 jeans and bridesmaid dresses that cost a fortune, and they won't trust those to a chain store. A home seamstress charges $15 to hem pants, $50 to take in a dress, and a single wedding party can mean $1,000 in a week. The machine your grandmother left you is still sitting somewhere. That machine is a cash register that nobody bothered to turn on. Number 16. Lawn mowing and leaf raking. This one feels too obvious until you look at the numbers. A kid with a push mower used to knock on doors and charge a couple of dollars a yard working the same lawns all summer. It was the first job most American boys ever had. Then it got dismissed as childhood pocket money, beneath any serious adult. But the families who paid that kid grew up, got busy, and stopped wanting to spend Saturday behind a mower. A simple lawn route today charges $35 to $50 per cut, and a single person handling 15 to 20 lawns a week clears more than most office jobs after taxes. Add leaf cleanup in fall and snow in winter, and it runs year-round. The barrier to entry is a mower and a willingness to do what everyone else is too tired to do. Number 15. Furniture refinishing. First pattern break. Here's where it gets interesting because the next few aren't just side cash. They're full livings hiding in plain sight. Your grandparents lived in a world of solid wood, and when a dresser got scratched or a table got water ringed, somebody in the neighborhood sanded it down, stained it, and made it new. A good refinisher could turn a junk dresser into an heirloom for a few dollars in supplies. Then particle board and flat pack furniture flooded in, the kind you throw away instead of fixing, and the craft faded into garages. Here's the secret nobody talks about. Those solid wood pieces are still everywhere, sitting at estate sales and curbsides for nothing. A refinisher buys a beat-up dresser for $20, spends a weekend and $40 in materials, and sells it for $250. People crave real wood now that they've lived with the disposable stuff. The skill is mostly patience, and the inventory is being thrown away on your street this very week. Number 14. Shoe repair. The cobbler was once a fixture on every main street. A man who could resole a work boot, stretch a tight shoe, or stitch a split seam while you waited. A good pair of shoes was an investment you maintained for years. Then, cheap imported shoes made replacement easier than repair, and the cobblers retired without successors. But here's what shifted. A pair of quality boots now costs $300 or more, and the people who buy them refuse to toss them over a worn heel. Resoling a boot runs $60 to $90, and a cobbler with a steady stream of regulars stays booked for weeks. There are entire counties in America without a single shoe repair shop, which means the first person to open one owns the whole market. Scarcity isn't a problem here. Scarcity is the entire opportunity. Number 13. Junk and scrap hauling. Long before dumpster rentals, there was always a man with a truck who would haul away whatever you did not want, and he made his money twice. Once from the dollar you paid him, and again from selling the scrap metal, the working appliances, and the salvageable lumber. Nothing left his truck as garbage if he could help it. Then it got branded as dirty work, and people looked down on it. Here is the reality in 2026. Americans are drowning in stuff, and they will pay handsomely to make it disappear. A junk hauler charges $150 to $400 per load, then strips the metal and resells the good pieces on top. A pickup truck and a strong back are the only requirements. The man hauling away your old water heater is often making more than the accountant who hired him. Number 12. Knife of the trade, the handyman. Here's the one I promised you, the hustle whole families used to live on. Every neighborhood had a fix-it man who could hang a door, patch drywall, unstick a window, and replace a faucet washer, all in one afternoon. He never advertised. Word of mouth kept him busier than he wanted to be. Then we convinced ourselves these jobs needed a licensed specialist and a $100 service call. Here's the wild part. Most of what people need isn't specialized at all. It's a wobbly railing, a running toilet, a sticky lock. A general handyman charges $75 to $150 an hour, and there's a man in Ohio running a one-person handyman operation pulling well over 6 figures, turning away work he can't get to. The demand is bottomless because the average homeowner can no longer change a light bulb without watching a tutorial. Competence itself has become rare, and rare things command a premium. Number 11, bicycle repair. Every town used to have a bike shop where a guy could true a wheel, fix a flat, or adjust a derailleur for a couple of dollars. And kids learned to do their own as they grew. Bikes were freedom, and they were everywhere. But here's the modern twist. E-bikes exploded, and the average one costs $1,500 to $4,000. People who would never repair a department store bike are desperate to maintain an investment like that. A mobile bike mechanic who comes to your garage charges $60 to $100 per service call, plus parts, and never runs out of customers in any city with hills and commuters. The grease under your fingernails washes off. The money does not. Second pattern break. Now we get into the trades everyone assumes are gone for good. They're not. They just got quiet. Number 10, chimney sweeping. The image is straight out of an old movie, a soot-covered man with brushes and a top hat working the rooftops. But it was deadly serious work because a clogged chimney meant a house fire. Sweeps worked a seasonal route every fall and were paid in cash and gratitude. Then central heating spread, and the trade seemed obsolete. Here's what people forget. Millions of American homes still have wood stoves and fireplaces, and every one of them is a fire hazard without a yearly cleaning. A chimney sweep charges $150 to $300 per cleaning. They book solid from September through December, and they face almost no competition because everyone assumes the job no longer exists. The equipment is brushes and a vacuum. The marketing is a single sign that says you do something nobody else around has thought about in 30 years. Number 9, piano tuning. There was a time when a piano sat in nearly every parlor, and a tuner came through town a few times a year, working ear and wrench to bring each one back to pitch. It was a respected, almost mystical skill, passed down carefully. Then pianos fell out of fashion and the tuners aged out without apprentices. Here's the surprise. There are still millions of pianos in America, in homes, churches, and schools, and every single one drifts out of tune and needs servicing once or twice a year. A piano tuner charges $150 to $250 per visit and can do 3 or 4 in a day. The tuners who remain are old and retiring fast, which means a young person who learns the craft now inherits a wide open field. It takes patience and a good ear, and it pays like a profession, because for the few who do it, it is one. Number 8, upholstery. Once upon a time, a worn-out couch did not go to the curb. It went to the upholsterer, who stripped it, replaced the springs and foam, and wrapped it in new fabric, leaving it better than the day it was bought. Quality furniture was built to be reborn this way again and again. Then cheap sofas made reupholstering seem foolish, and the shops closed. But here is the angle. A genuinely well-built vintage sofa is worth a fortune now, and people inherit them, find them, and want them restored. Reupholstering a chair runs $300 to $600 in labor. A sofa, well over $1,000. The fabric and foam are the easy part. The skill is the bottleneck, which is exactly why those who have it set their own prices. One restored mid-century chair can pay for a week of groceries with money left over. Number 7, errand running and personal shopping. Before the word gig existed, there was always someone in the neighborhood who would pick up your prescriptions, do your shopping, or wait for the repairman so you did not have to. Older folks especially relied on a trusted younger neighbor, and a little envelope of cash changed hands. Then it got swallowed by apps and impersonal delivery services. But here is what the apps cannot do. They cannot be trusted. They cannot be consistent. And they cannot actually care. An independent personal errand runner who builds a handful of regular elderly or busy clients charges $25 to $40 an hour, and those relationships last for years. The aging population is the largest it has ever been in this country, and a huge share of them want a real person, not a stranger with a phone. Reliability and a kind face are the entire product. Number 6. Sign and lettering work. Every storefront, truck, and window display used to be hand-lettered by a sign painter with a steady hand and a sable brush. It was an art form that gave each business its own face. Then vinyl printers and computers made it instant and identical, and the painters were dismissed as relics. Here's the reversal. Everything looks the same now, and businesses are desperate to stand out. Hand-painted signs, gold leaf windows, and custom lettering have become premium again, the mark of a place that cares. A skilled sign painter charges by the project, and a single restaurant window or storefront mural can bring $800 to several $1,000s. The pendulum swung all the way to digital and is swinging back hard toward the human hand. The brush that got tossed in a drawer is suddenly worth picking back up. Third pattern break. The last 5 are the ones with the biggest money and the smallest crowd. Pay attention. Number 5. Pressure washing. This one barely existed as a neighborhood trade until the equipment got cheap, but it fits the pattern perfectly. A simple service everyone needs, and almost nobody wants to do. Driveways go black, decks go gray, siding grows grime, and homeowners stare at it for years, doing nothing. A pressure washer with a surface cleaner attachment transforms a filthy driveway in 20 minutes, and the before and after is so dramatic that customers practically sell the job for you. The machine costs a few $100s. The going rate is $200 to $500 per house, and a solid weekend can clear $1,000. There is something almost addictive about watching years of grime blast away in seconds, and people will line up just to have their own house do the same. It is low skill, high satisfaction, and shockingly profitable for the effort. Number 4. Watch and clock repair. There was a watchmaker in every town, hunched over a bench with a loop in his eye, bringing dead timepieces back to life. A good watch was a lifetime possession that got serviced, not replaced. Then quartz and smartwatches arrived, and the repairman seemed finished for good. Here's the quiet boom. Mechanical watches came roaring back as luxury items, and a single quality one can cost thousands. Servicing a mechanical watch runs $200 to $500, and grandfather clocks even more. The watchmakers who survived are overwhelmed, with waiting lists stretching months because almost no one entered the trade for 40 years. A person who learns it now steps into a profession with massive demand and a vanishing supply of practitioners. The tools fit on a small bench, and the income rivals a skilled office career, all from work done quietly with your hands. Number 3. Specialty food from the home kitchen. Here is the one where people pay triple what they did in 1980. Neighborhoods used to have the tamale lady, the pie woman, the man who smoked the best brisket on the block, all selling out of their own kitchens to a loyal local crowd. Then health codes and grocery convenience pushed it underground. But here is what changed everything. Most states now have cottage food laws that legally allow you to sell baked goods, jams, candies, and certain prepared foods made in your home kitchen. A weekend baker selling sourdough, cookies, or pies at a farmer's market clears several $100s a day, and the best ones build waiting lists. People are paying $8 for a loaf of bread that costs $1 to make because they want something real and local. The recipe your family guarded for generations is, in many states, now a perfectly legal business you can start from your own oven. Number 2. Mobile car detailing. The neighborhood car wash kid grew up, but the car got a lot more expensive. Detailing used to mean a bucket and a hose in the driveway for a few dollars. Today it is a precision service, and people will pay almost anything to keep a $40,000 vehicle looking new. A mobile detailer comes to the customer's driveway, which is the whole genius of it. No shop, no overhead, no waiting room. A full detail runs $150 to $300, and a detailer working out of a single van can do 3 or 4 a day. Add ceramic coating, and the per-job number climbs into the high hundreds. The startup cost is supplies, and a van you may already own. People who would never wash their own car will happily hand it to someone who treats it like art, and there is no shortage of cars or vanity in America. And finally, number 1, locksmithing and key services. This crowns the list because it combines the lowest competition with the highest urgency of anything we've covered. Every neighborhood once had a hardware store that cut keys and a locksmith who knew every door in town. Then it got treated as obscure and intimidating, and the trade thinned dramatically. Here's why it's number 1. When someone is locked out of their house or car, they don't shop around, they don't haggle, and they don't wait. They pay whatever it takes, right now. A lockout call runs $75 to $200 and takes minutes. Rekeying a home, installing smart locks, opening a car, cutting specialty keys. It never slows down because people lose keys and lock themselves out every single day, forever. The training is affordable and fast. The equipment fits in a kit, and the demand is recession-proof. Because misfortune doesn't care about the economy. It is, quietly, one of the most reliable hands-on incomes a single person can build in America today, and almost nobody is paying attention. So there they are, 20. Hustles your grandparents knew and we forgot. The thread tying everyone together is simple. They didn't die because they stopped working. They died because we decided they were old-fashioned, and that decision left the door wide open. Pick one, just one. The sharpening cart, the egg sign, the handyman truck, the home kitchen. Then come back and tell me which one you started. Because the only thing standing between you and a second income might be a skill we threw away too soon.